we are going to find out why some verbs go with zijn instead of hebben. When to use zijn. Let's first look at some examples of sentences in which we use zijn instead of hebben. Ik ben naar het feest gegaan. I have gone to the party. Zij is in Argentinië geweest. She has been in Argentina. Hij is getrouwd. He is married. En jullie zijn veranderd. You have changed. These are some examples of sentences in which we use zijn. And we use zijn for various reasons. The first reason we're going to look into is movements in a direction. Let's take a look at the following sentence. Ik heb vandaag gefietst. I have cycled today. It's a sentence you might use a lot when you live in the Netherlands. And the second sentence. Ik ben naar Rotterdam gefietst. Ik ben naar Rotterdam gefietst. In both sentences, we use the perfectum of fietsen. But in the first sentence, we use heb. And in the second sentence, we use ben. Why is that? It's because we have a movement in a direction. It's not enough to have a movement, it has to be in a direction. Like Rotterdam, for example. The second reason to use zijn instead of hebben in perfectum is when the subject is undergoing the action, or when there is a change of state of the subject. Let's look at some examples. De politie heeft een dief gearresteerd. It's just an action by the police. De politie heeft een dief gearresteerd. We use hebben here. In the second sentence, it's different. De dief is gearresteerd door de politie. This sentence is passive. The real actor of this sentence is the police, but the grammatical subject is the thief, de dief. De dief is gearresteerd. The subject is undergoing the action. Let's look at another example. Hij heeft zijn kapsel veranderd. Zijn kapsel means his hairdo. He has changed his hairdo. It's just an action by the subject. The second sentence is different. Hij is veranderd. He has changed. Also here, the subject is undergoing the action. And there is a change of state of the subject. The subject changes. This is why we use a form of zijn. Let's look at our last example. Onze beste vriend heeft ons getrouwd. Trouwen. It's a verb that almost always is used with zijn in perfectum. But in this sentence, it isn't. Because this sentence means our best friend has married us, as in he was leading the ceremony. So it's really an action. While the second sentence, wij zijn getrouwd, is clearly a sentence in which the subject, wij, is undergoing the action. There is a change of state of the subject. Let's move on to the third reason to use ZIJN in Perfectum. It's easy. There are just certain verbs that always go together with ZIJN. And sometimes it's clear why. Take for example the verb gaan. Ik ben naar huis gegaan. You could say that gaan in itself is a movement in a direction. So it should always be with zijn. The same for the verb komen. Hij is naar mijn huis gekomen. You could say that komen is in itself a movement in a direction. Then you have the verb zijn. Zij is op reis geweest. Well, zijn, you could say that it's like a change of the state of the subject, that the subject is undergoing the action in some way. Maybe this works for you. If not, just remember that zijn is in Perfectum always with zijn. The same for worden. The baby is groot geworden. The baby has become big. You could say that this is a change of state of the subject. The subject is undergoing the verb, the action. The last one is harder to see. It's the verb vallen, which means to fall. Ik ben gevallen. You could say that it's a movement in a direction in some way when you fall, or you could argue that you don't really have control when you fall, so it's like undergoing an action. Sometimes it's not so clear why a verb is with zijn. You'll just have to remember it. If you would like to have a list of verbs that are always with zijn in Perfectum, then click on the link in the description of this video and you will find a list. Okay, we have done our 3 things for today. We've seen the regular verbs, the irregular verbs, and we have seen the difference between zijn and hebben in Perfectum. There is one thing that we didn't look at today, and I will quickly cover it, but we won't dive deep into it. It's the Perfectum with double infinitive. The Perfectum with double infinitive is basically a Perfectum with 2 verbs. Let's look at an example. How would you say ik werk in Perfectum? Ik heb gewerkt. But now we make it a little bit more difficult. The present tense is ik moet werken. How would you put that in Perfectum? The answer is this. Ik heb moeten werken. If you have a sentence with an auxiliary verb in the present tense, the 2 verbs, in this case moeten and werken, combine and form together with hebben, or with zijn in some cases, a perfectum. So you don't see that past participle that we have been working with. It is a perfectum though, and it's the same tense as the sentence above. Ik heb gewerkt is in the same tense as ik heb moeten werken. I hope this has given you an idea of how the perfectum with 2 verbs works. Now, this has been another lesson from the Dutch Online Academy. Visit our website if you would like to have more information about Dutch learning. We offer podcasts, exercises, explanations in Dutch and English, and also private lessons one-on-one via Skype given by me. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful and subscribe to this channel if you would like to hear more from us. See you next lesson. Doei!